Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome to another AliExpress top 10 list, but today it's a list with a twist. It's not organised around a sale or even a particular price point, it's organised around a colour. That colour being #0ABAB5, aka Tiffany Blue. I suspect you will already have noticed this, but Tiffany Blue is everywhere at the moment, with brands scrambling to release models in pale pastel blue. And it's all thanks to this watch, the now quietly discontinued Rolex Oyster Perpetual in Tiffany Blue dial. And if you think that Tiffany Blue is a feminine colour only for the ladies, don't take it up with me, take it up with Mark Wahlberg or LeBron James instead. Now, the retail price of the old 41mm OP Tiffany was a mere 8,600 Aussie dollars, but that didn't stop people selling and buying them for $70,000. Complete madness, but a sign of just how hot this colour is right now. Of course, this being just one more watch and this being an AliExpress video, you don't have to spend that much to get a splash of #0ABAB5 on your wrist. I've assembled a selection of 10 watches plus a bonus from as little as $25 up to $350 plus, depending on your personal budget. Now, because of the fact that this colour was popularised by the Rolex Oyster Perpetual, many of these watches are trying to look like it, or at least look like another model from the Rolex range. If you want me to do this list with original designs and micro brands, leave me a comment, let me know. It won't be hard to do. The colour is everywhere, as I said. Now, I've had hands-on experience with 5 of the 10. I'll include my own macro footage where possible. The other 5 are sight unseen, and as such will come with that warning. I'll leave links to all 11 watches plus a couple of discount vouchers in the order that I show them in the description of the video. Let's get on with it. At number 1, it's an old channel favourite that has been given a new lease of life. It's the Pagani Daytona homage, now with steel bezel and blue dial. Regular price on these is $89.99, but there's a $15 voucher code in the video description from the official store. That takes it down to around $75 maximum. Now, I haven't reviewed this specific version, but I have looked at several different colourways of this watch in the past. The Pagani Daytonalike has always been one of their best offerings, with sapphire crystals, screw-down crown and screw-down pushers, giving 100 metres of water resistance, and the super reliable Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz movement powering it. The switch to a stainless steel bezel for this model, I think, is a very good one because it really sets off that blue dial a treat. You can see that look on several other watches on this list too. And if this blue is now a bit too masculine for your taste, you can always pick up the pink one instead. At number 2, it's a watch that isn't actually in Tiffany Blue, it's in Doxa Baby Blue. It's the Seestern 300 lookalike, and your target price for one of these is $175. Again, there is always a voucher or two available from the official store. Now, I looked at the version 1 of this watch last year and was most impressed. The watch you're looking at is a version 2 that is slimmer and features a loomed date wheel for $175. Doxa have been using this colour on their watches for years, along with orange and yellow and a number of other colours that have only now become super hot because Rolex decides to use them. This is NH35 powered, flat sapphire crystal, screw down crown, stainless steel bezel insert with a touch more baby blue paint on that inlay, a gorgeous deep etched caseback, and a remarkably decent bead of rice bracelet with a half bill clasp and enough micro adjustment that I'm not complaining for once. No originality, of course, so you have to be okay with that, but this is the Tiffany Blue watch you buy when you're not actually buying a Tiffany Blue watch. At number 3, shock horror, it's an original design from San Martin. I know, right? They make some seriously good watches and there are several more on this list, but most of them are heavily inspired, shall we say, by the designs of others. Not so the 044. Your target price on this one is $200 and upwards, and that's before you start sniffing around for vouchers. The rubber strap version should be under $200, the bracelet version around $220, both from the San Martin official store, links in the description. This is indeed a very nicely made watch, again with more baby blue paint inlays in that very striking stainless steel bezel. The bezel action is excellent, the lume is excellent, the bracelet is so much better than you get on a Seiko / Orient or Citizen for $200, as is that clasp. The only real downer with this one is the Miyota 8215. Reliable and accurate, but not my favourite movement because of the unidirectional winding. But a well-manufactured and original design Tiffany dive watch for $200 makes this one a worthy entrant on today's list. Okay, at numbers 4, 5 and 6 we have 3 watches at $25, $50 and $100 respectively, all essentially trying to pull off that Rolex OP look as closely as possible. Let's start with the cheapest watch on today's list, the $25 Paulareis. Paulareis? I don't know. These are also available in a bunch of other very Rolex colours, coral, yellow, etc., all for the same price. Look, I don't normally review or recommend automatic watches quite this cheap, and I'm not necessarily endorsing the purchase of this one today, merely pointing out that if you simply must have the Tiffany look for as little capital outlay as possible, this is it, this is your boy. For your $25 you get an unspecified automatic movement, hollow end links and a cheap looking clasp, but hey, what do you expect from a $25 auto? Always check both store and product feedback when buying from Ali. Product feedback is okay on this one at 4.7, but don't expect a miracle for your $25 and you're less likely to be disappointed if you don't receive a miracle. At number 5 for double the money is a Benyar, and for your $50 here you seem to be getting considerably better specs than the Paulareis. A named movement from Seagull, an ST6 with a display case back to show it off, a date complication, admittedly for better or for worse, and 100 meters of water resistance from a screw down crown. This one is 39mm, which is such a sweet size. There's some lume on it as well, though I wouldn't be placing too much faith in this particular graphic for your $50. All the usual colours are available too. Number 6 then is the Pagani version of the OP Tiffany that I reviewed earlier on this year. These are floating around the $100 mark in all the usual colours as well. But what do you get for double the price of a Benyar then? Well, you get a Seiko NH35, you get sapphire crystal for a start. Again, I liked this one a lot when I reviewed it earlier on this year. It's a really nice shade of blue that works better than you might think in real world conditions. Next with this one, the PT Time double branding is totally unnecessary in my opinion, and the clasp is still unnecessarily overcomplicated to adjust, but for less than $100 on sale or with a couple of vouchers, you could do a lot worse than the Pagani if you're going specifically for that Oyster Perpetual look. However, if you like the colour but want something just a little bit different from the Oyster Perpetual look, why not check out the Explore Climbing series? Do you see what they did there? By San Martin. They do a 36mm and a 39mm priced from $285 upwards. I've got one on my wrist today. I'm wearing a 36mm with Arabics at 3, 6 and 9. They also do a 36mm with batons and a brand new 39mm with applied Arabics. Now I've also reviewed the previous 39mm with a printed dial and it is a real honey of a watch to wear. I have no idea why Rolex discontinued the 39mm OP and Explorer case. They worked so well, and the 39mm San Martin gets bloody close to that look and feel. Clearly these are very nicely made watches with box dome sapphire crystal, decent BGW9 lume, excellent bracelets and clasps, but they now come with a mainstream price tag. $285 up to $425 if you opt for a Sellita SW200 power version. If you're dropping that much, you need to have a good think about whether #0AB5 is going to be in a long-term relationship with your wrist or just a bit of a summer fling this year. The cheaper versions offer either a PT5000 or a Seagull ST2130, so both clones of the Sellita SW200. You're unlikely to notice much of a difference on your wrist therefore. At number 8, it's a watch I haven't sampled from a brand that I have. It's the Steeldive 1933, essentially a datejust homage. Target price is around $125 with vouchers. These are available in a variety of different versions. Fluted bezel with Oyster bracelet, fluted bezel with Jubilee, which would be my pick, smooth bezel with Oyster bracelet, and if you really insist, both bezels with a truly hideous rubber strap. As I've said, I've looked at a couple of Steeldives previously and I have been really impressed with the quality, so I have no reason to think that this one will be any different. The now usual specs of Seiko NH35, 200 meters of water resistance, screw down crown and some decent lume, etc, etc. Okay, at number 9 it's essentially the same watch as number 7 but with snowflake hands. Yes indeed, San Martin have brought you a combo that not even Tudor has, so far at least. These are 300 with a PT5000 and 400 plus with an SW200, so the same considerations remain as with the other Explorer Climbing Series models discussed previously, as do all of the same strengths: great finishing, loom, lovely sapphire, etc, etc. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for the BB36. I appreciate the simplicity, and anything other than Mercedes hands is a nice change on a homage, I reckon. Plus, this one looks like it has 4 holes of micro adjustment from a slightly longer clasp than the 369er on my wrist at the moment, which only has 2 holes of micro adjust. So at number 10, it's essentially a more affordable version of number 9. When you structure a list around a colour, there's a fair degree of similarity across the board, isn't there? It's a Pagani version of the Black Bay 36 in pale blue. Target price after applying the voucher in the description is $95-ish. You can pretty much write the spec list yourselves on this one, can't you? NH35, sapphire crystal, screw links, tricky clasp, half decent loom, and an interesting decision to polish the outer edges of the bracelet. This will therefore be a little more blingy than the all brush versions, obviously, so factor that into your decision making process today accordingly. And finally, the bonus: if you are still not convinced that Tiffany blue can be tough, how's about a Tiffany blue monster homage? They call it the Sea Monster, and it can be yours from Seestern for $165 less any vouchers. Seestern have been doing an orange version of this watch for a while and recently added the pale blue to their lineup. Their Doxa 300 homage is one of the best divers you can buy for under $200 in terms of specs and build anyway, and I would not expect anything different from this one. For example, this monster lookalike has a fully loomed NH36. It's the first time I've ever seen that. So there you have it. Are you sick of Tiffany blue yet? Some ideas there if you fancy a little bit of that particular colour on your wrist for the spring and summer without spending a fortune. If this isn't quite what you were looking for, if you want something more original, then check out another couple of pale blue watches by First Stage and Halios. Thanks for watching. See you again in a future video.